I banned my sister-in-law from the wedding. She did something I can never forgive, so I don't care. Am I the a-hole?
Send her maybe to like a new country in a cage. Don't let her out. Feed her scraps.
Speaking of cages, we've been let out of our cage.
Yes, we have.
This is not a green screen anymore, guys.
Yeah, this is real. We are in Bali right now. Can we say that? Okay.
I think it's
Riley
fine.
says we can say that.
Yes, it's been approved.
It's been
Producer
approved.
Riley gave us the thumbs up.
Just kidding. Save us. He's keeping us under duress.
Yeah, look at these terrible conditions that we're living in.
Do you think we can live in this condition? But yeah, so this we're gonna be doing this episode from this villa in Bali.
And many more. So let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
I, 27 female, got engaged to my fiance, 34 male, right before COVID, and due to the pandemic, have experienced delay after delay.
Pandemic, always ruining weddings.
But finally, we have begun planning and are aiming at a mid-May 24th wedding. My mother asked me if I could include my sister-in-law in my bridal party because after marrying my brother, she moved several states away.
After the mom married the brother?
Yeah, that's why let me read it back.
After marrying my brother.
My mother asked me if I can include my sister-in-law in my bridal party because after my sister-in-law married my brother, she moved several states away and has expressed feelings of being isolated without family around. I could understand, so I agreed.
Okay.
But
big butt.
Big butts,
Big
always.
booties.
We love big butts. My sister-in-law has been nothing short of a nightmare.
Well, shout out to Disney for making sure I hate every mother-in-law.
There we go,
ever.
yeah.
Cinderella hates the mother-in-law.
Fuck her.
Or, she's actually looking like a snack, honestly, dude. Elastigirl, Shit, dude. You know that she can expand that booty too. Also, like, tightness.
My bridesmaids all assisted in handwriting and sending out our wedding invitations, but the ones my sister-in-law helped with all had 0 invitations inside, and instead was just an empty envelope. I know they were hers because everyone had different shades of pink to work from. She also took the longest at our makeup and hair consultations, even extending her appointment an hour, to which I was charged for. I am covering her expenses as she is a stay-at-home mom, and I know things are tight right now. Not tighter than Elastigirl's, but... This all happened because she could not agree with a stylist on what makeup she wanted. But the final straw came when I found the dress of my dreams. Only problem was I was 15 pounds too heavy for it, and I bawled my eyes out because I knew this was the dress for me.
Elastigirl would not have this problem.
Everyone was encouraging, and I still had plenty of time to lose 15 pounds and come back for a fitting, etc.
You can do that.
We can do it.
Just don't eat.
So I agreed, and I said yes to the dress. So when I got home that night, I noticed on my sister-in-law's Instagram that she had posted a picture to her Instagram of me in the dress, ugly crying, and I was absolutely livid. My fiance had already seen the Instagram picture, and I am devastated. He was not supposed to see me in the wedding dress until our wedding day, and I know so many more people have seen it.
Yes, so shitty.
I could not help myself. I called her exploding, adding that she was not going to be in my bridal party and that she has ruined my wedding.
I mean, she would. I think OP already gave her a chance. Cut her out.
Exactly.
Cut her out.
My mother-in-law has called me and told me that even though she understands, I lacked compassion and have severely hurt my sister-in-law's feelings. She asked if I could find it in my heart to forgive her, but I told her even if I did, I still would not include her in my party. So am I the a-hole?
I mean, I want to know what all y'all think. Put your answers in the comments right now. And I also want to know, where would you stand in like the first fumble of not putting any invitations in the envelopes?
Yeah.
And then the second fumble. I feel the first fumble, I think a lot of people would see that as like not just a mishap.
You'd have to be so dumb.
So fucking dumb.
Such an idiot.
Why would you include someone in your wedding party that is literally showed you twice that she's trying to sabotage you?
At the end of the day, this is my wedding. Like, I want to have people in my bridesmaids party that are supporting me, that are like, I'm having the time of my life with them. Like, forget even not doing anything wrong. Like, just someone I don't like enjoy immensely.
Yeah, I would love to hear your stories from bachelor and bachelorette parties. Put it in the comments. But John, let's get into this update.
For further update, my brother called me and wanted to have lunch with my mother and sister-in-law. My fiance demanded to go too, so we drove to have lunch with them. It was awkward at first because no one was speaking, but then my brother spoke up, reiterating to me that my sister-in-law was sorry for posting the picture on Instagram and hoping that we could all move on from this. When my fiance heard this, he asked why my sister-in-law was not apologizing to me directly. It became very intense, and my brother and fiance started exchanging using pointed words. He referenced my sister-in-law feeling very distraught since a few of my bridesmaids had seen the photo and personally attacked her on Instagram. And even my mom got involved to try and break the rising tension. My fiance pointed out that my sister-in-law had yet to directly apologize to me, and that if she didn't, he did not want her at the wedding at all.
Whoa.
And he didn't care if my brother was absent or not.
Hey, that's the definition of a good fiance.
When my mom said we are family and we shouldn't act this way towards each other, my fiance once again insisted that she give me a face-to-face apology. My sister-in-law was very standoffish towards him, but eventually she apologized to me for what happened. She only said, "I'm sorry for what happened." I felt this was enough, but my fiance demanded she clarified what happened, take responsibility for it, and apologize the same way my brother did, to which it became an argument over whether or not the apology was good enough. Maybe the brother's was better because he like kind of laid it out more, but yeah, the sister-in-law was just like, "I'm sorry."
I mean, the brother didn't do anything majorly wrong. He's apologizing on behalf of the person that did something wrong.
It'd be like, I punch you in the face and I'm like, "Riley, apologize to Sam right now."
Riley's our producer, by the way.
Do it.
Riley, apologize.
On the ones and twos.
Good.
There we go.
There we go.
See, it works. Now, I felt the conversation went nowhere and it became redundant and petty, and we ended lunch with what felt like no resolution. I talked to my fiance in the car that I was okay with her apology, but he disagrees. He said, for the sake of peace, that he was willing to accept less than I deserve. I know. What a king we have on our hands.
Woman deserves the most stately apology, the most queenly apology.
The best you've ever seen in all the lands. I really thought that planning a wedding was going to be stressful, but happy, if that makes sense. But this whole ordeal has completely exhausted me. And turned me off to any further planning. There is a final update. My sister-in-law finally said that she absolutely hates me, and it all stems.
There's like no resolution right now.
Yeah. Everyone hates each other. Yeah, the final update, everyone hates each other at the end. And it all stems from me ceasing to further loan my brother money after he borrowed $42,000 from me over a 2.5-year time frame with no payment to me whatsoever.
This came out of nowhere.
For context, I'm in tech and my fiance is in solar, so we live fairly comfortably. My sister-in-law is a stay-at-home mom and my brother works at a warehouse. His job alone was sometimes not enough to cover expenses, and he would often come to me to borrow money, which I didn't mind. But when COVID hit, it became a regular occurrence for me and my mom to be loaning out money to him. I don't know how much money my mom has loaned to him. After my brother got a really steady job with steady income, I decided to no longer provide him any additional money until he paid down some of his debt to me. My sister-in-law described my decision as a slap in the face to my brother and one that made them feel like beggars rather than family.
You are beggars, though.
I cannot believe this is the reason that she doesn't like me. When I told my brother I could no longer loan him money, he never expressed any anger at my decision, and it felt like he understood. What solidified my decision to not include her in my wedding at all was when she said that she could see where the money was going and referenced my weight.
Oh.
You got 42 grand from her. Shut the f up. I told her that she has no respect for me and feels entitled when she has no right to be. I told her that I hoped it didn't affect my relationship with my niece/nephew, but that I did not want to be around her if all she does is spew hatred towards me. I wish that she had been honest before I asked her to be my bridesmaid rather than deciding to put me through hell. I've tried to call my brother and tell him what she said, but he is not picking up, and neither is my mom.
Whew.
Wow, there was so much more than
a good amount of juice.
A good amount of juice in this one. So what is the question here? Like,
all right, my question. So the bachelor and bachelorette parties are where the bridal party and groomsmen like first kind of like all get to know each other. And I feel like that's when the chaos starts. And so I want to know any chaotic stories or any lovely stories of your bachelor and bachelorette party experiences. Let us know in the comments. Sure, there's some juicy ones. I remember one of my friends in Australia, he was part of Thunder Down Under, which is like an Australian stripping group.
Oh boy.
And so he would wear the Speedos and all the stuff and like do the hip thrusts. And he would do bachelorette parties. He said that the whole Thunder Down Under troupe ran through the actual like person that was going to get married.
Wow.
Like all of them.
Okay, the bar has been set. Share your stories.
And it was it was not clean. It was raw and filled.
Oh,
this is again. I wasn't there to experience it.
Wow, we don't have a first-hand witness report.
Firsthand, but this is what I was told, and so now I'm just like, bachelor and bachelorette parties. This sounds nasty.
Wow.
So I'm sure there's crazy stories out there.
If you want to fill our holes with your stories, please leave them in the comments below.
Leave them gaping and wet.
Oh, yes.
And we'll, massage it on our bodies.
On that note, should we get into the next one?
Let's get into the next one.
Let's do it.
Am I the asshole if I demand my wife abandon her career to take care of her daughter?
How dare you
have a job? Jobs for women.
That's
my wife and I have a 3-year-old daughter, Alexis. Cute name. Both of us work, and Alexis has attended daycare since she was 1. In the 2 years since, we have been asked to leave 2 programs because my wife is a micromanager. I quickly learned that they can't provide personalized care, and after learning from her teachers, I reset my expectations. My wife, however, has a lot of anxiety and worries about our daughter. She hates when she gets even a little upset. She's in therapy and is working on it. First program, my wife would constantly watch the live feed and call the daycare multiple times a day.
Oh, there's a live feed?
I guess so.
It's too much. You got to let your kid live.
Leave the nest.
What happened to going on your bike and, getting bruises and, beating kids up?
We had several talks about it, and the school talked to us twice. My wife ended up screaming at one of the teachers. And then the director. We were terminated immediately. Second daycare was a little better because my wife began therapy, but my wife was still so nervous and had a complaint every single day.
Oh my God.
These were not important things. They were small things. Like she saw another child took a toy away from Alexis and she would cry. That's called the real fucking world, Alexis. Get used to it.
Get used to it.
The teacher would give the toy back to Alexis, but my wife didn't understand why the other child wasn't punished for it. What do you want? Like 30 lashings? This daycare didn't kick us out, but did eventually suggest that this may not be the best program for us. My wife and I decided to pull out. If only you did that earlier. My wife, because of her anxiety, myself, because I knew my wife had burned bridges and was becoming one of those moms. We chose a smaller home daycare this time as we couldn't afford another center. The woman who owns it is very nice, but also firm. She stands by her boundaries and won't let my wife break any rules, whereas the centers were definitely more accommodating. My wife would take any inch she got. This time, she doesn't get that opportunity. I thought all was well, as the owner only speaks to my wife for the most part. And then I get put in a group text saying my wife has been bombarding the owner with text every single day.
Oh no.
Despite the owner saying she will text her at lunch when things are settled. She said at this point, she will only be responding at specific times of the day and not looking the rest. The owner then added several pages of the contract with passages highlighted, reminding us of certain policies my wife had violated.
When you're a daycare citing your contract, something is wrong.
You're getting fucked. Dude.
Yeah.
I was pissed. When Alexis went to bed that night, my wife and I talked. I said this was our last option for daycare. They've been kicked out of every other daycare. The other centers are too expensive, and this was the only home daycare in the area that we like. A nanny is not in our budget. My wife made a million excuses, including that it's not her fault that she's anxious. I mean, yeah, but it is. I said, if we are asked to leave this program too, my wife will be the one quitting her job to watch Alexis, not me. This upset my wife. I pointed out I've spoken to her kindly about this plenty of times. I encourage her to keep up her therapy, but she can't keep getting us kicked out of the programs. My wife is now not speaking to me. So am I the a-hole? I want to know from all of you, what do you think? Also, have you been, I don't even know like how strict these daycare systems are. So if you've been in the daycare system, like how accommodating are they? And have you pissed off any daycare workers? So yeah, what would you do in this situation? Is OP the a-hole? John, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that like someone needs to stop this woman.
Also, you hired this place to do a job, to watch your kid. You're watching them watch your kid.
Literally on a live feed.
The purpose of literally hiring someone. Like if you're going to watch your kid the whole time, just, well, this is not a good parenting move. I'm going to say it anyway. Walk them in the room with the live camera feed. And then you're doing the same exact thing. Give them some chickens maybe to play with.
Yeah, but I think the real question here is...
Wait, my question wasn't good enough?
No, it was fucking terrible.
Yeah. Sam, that question was good. But the real question is my question.
You're doing stupid, so let's get to mine. But like... I think it's not like telling her like, hey, you have to stop. It's like is telling her that she will have to quit her job. to watch her. Is that like too far? Is that beyond the line? There has to be
That's
some
what
sort
will
of
happen.
repercussion.
It's like, hey, like this is
Right.
if you keep doing this and fucking this up for us both, you're going to be the one quitting.
And they can't afford another one.
And also it's like you've shown a lot of interest in being the person that's going to watch our kids.
That is true.
It seems like the thing you want to do. So why not quit your job, do it full time?
I was hovering on the line, but I think you brought me over to not the a-hole. So
Not the a-hole. That's our opinion, but we're just two guys, with no kids. So,
childless bastards.
so for all those kid lovers, that's wrong.
You said that completely incorrect.
For those of you who have kids that you brought into this world, not ones that you stole, or adoption is okay
or watch
too.
on a live feed.
Yeah. If you watch kids on a live feed,
Something might be wrong. Something might be wrong.
Your opinions, man.
We've just evolved at this point. Where
let's get
are
to the
we?
next story.
What are we doing? Let's go. Let's get it.
Let's see the next one.
My mother-in-law forced me to eat her disgusting mac and cheese, so I revealed her darkest secret and ruined her whole life. Am I the a-hole?
Never gonna do a nice thing for anyone again.
My husband, 30 male, and I, 28 female, have been married for 2 years, together for 5 years, and I'm currently 6 months pregnant. Congrats.
Unless you don't want it, then. Not congrats.
Not congrats. We are very excited and blessed because I've had some complications in getting pregnant. I have a very good relationship with my in-laws, and if any of us ever had a problem, we were able to talk it through. Except for one thing. My mother-in-law's disgusting mac and cheese.
That sounds like a euphemism for like a stinky vagina.
I, however, found it disgusting on day one, but I didn't want to come off as rude or ungrateful, so I pulled through it without saying anything. I told my husband about it, and he said that his mother has been making it for decades, perfecting the recipe, and she would be deeply offended if anyone told her anything bad about her mac and cheese, so I should just find the right moment to tell her. He, for some reason, loves it, so he didn't want to be the one to tell her, which I totally understood because it is my issue and I had to deal with it.
Wait, so OP's husband likes it?
Yes, loves it.
Oh, so it sounds like a personal preference thing.
It's been almost 2 years of me pretending.
No
just
way.
eating the
That's
stankest,
crazy.
cottage cheesiest mac and cheese.
Damn, dude.
So 2 days ago, I've just decided to tell her. It was a family dinner where my husband's parents had invited us over, and of course, his mother was making her so-called famous mac and cheese.
Damn, really putting in the so-called.
Yeah, the so-called, the alleged
famous
mac and cheese. It doesn't even have 10,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah, it's not legit.
Like OKOP. Actually, we don't have 10,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah, dude, our Instagram's trash.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Go follow our Instagram,
Yeah, can you
guys.
please?
Yeah, give us clout. I almost threw up at the smell, and I couldn't bear the thought of eating it. Oh, and probably it was because I was pregnant.
Oh.
Now she's hated it for 2 years though, so she hasn't been pregnant for that whole time. But now that she's like
'cause
super
pregnancy
pregnant,
is 9 months.
it's like even more like she can't even handle the smell anymore.
Yeah.
It's getting that bad. So at dinner, when I was offered the mac and cheese, I politely declined and said,
That's
no, thank you.
spunky.
That stank.
It's stanky.
My mother-in-law looked at me and asked, why? You should eat. It's good for the baby. The baby loves my mac and cheese. I know because I asked
That's a
it.
crazy statement. Please eat my food. It's good for your baby.
And I just went right out with it and said, I'm sorry, but I don't like your mac and cheese. Everything else tastes delicious, but this is the one thing I simply can't eat anymore. She looked so deeply offended, and she literally snapped, well, thanks for being honest, and didn't even look or speak to me for the rest of the evening.
Damn, dude, you've been disowned.
That's tough. My husband was on my side and tried to speak to his mother, but all I know is that it didn't work because she has been cold to me ever since.
Damn, imagine someone's identity being that wrapped up in mac and cheese.
Also, I think we're going to get some more details into why this mac and cheese is so stank. What's wrong with the mac and cheese, you might ask? Her perfecting the recipe ended up with this result. Oh, God. Oh, God.
Wait, is it bad? What is it?
Mac and cheese combined with salmon, kimchi, pineapple, seaweed salad, collard greens, onions, and garlic.
That's a mac and cheese. Mac and cheese is one of those rare foods where literally the dish is the ingredients are explained. It is mac and cheese.
I don't have a problem with the greens or onion, but the rest tastes so disgustingly wrong with the mac and cheese. cheese.
Kimchi and salmon. That's weird.
However, the reason why I think I might have been the a-hole is because, like my husband said, she has been perfecting this recipe for years.
What does that mean? Just adding a new ingredient every year?
Her entire family clearly loves it, and I tell her that her perfected and loved mac and cheese is terrible. Am I the a-hole? And there's a quick edit. I did tell her because I'm pregnant, it wasn't possible for me to stomach the ingredients, but
Damn.
she still didn't want to talk to me. Another edit. I'm French and my husband's family.
Of course. French makes sense.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Snooty French people.
I'm French and my husband's family is Korean, so that will explain the ingredients. I do enjoy salmon, kimchi, and seaweed
kimchi
salads.
makes sense.
Yeah, but it greatly depends on which dishes it's served with. And since I've been pregnant, I've developed an aversion to several foods that I used to love.
I feel like it could be like a cultural difference.
Right. Okay.
Kind of like thing where it's like maybe all of the Korean people like think like, oh, this is dank as fuck. And all the French people are like, this ain't, my 5-star French dining kind of deal.
Right.
This ain't no ratatouille.
I still think because she feels like she's going to be sick, like maybe she could have been like 5% more diplomatic, but like being like, I'm sorry, like I don't, I don't think this is the best thing for me to eat right now. Like, what else are you going to do? Like start throwing up? Like,
yeah, or maybe just say like, hey, I'm lactose intolerant. Bam.
That is
lie.
better. No, I don't think OP is the a-hole though. I kind of I want, this is perfect because we very rarely disagree. So I want the audience to put a-hole or not the a-hole.
I think a little bit the a-hole. Just suck it up.
Yeah.
Suck it up.
Well, let's let the audience decide.
I think a little bit the a-hole, just like put it on your plate and say like, don't eat it. It's like, hey, like I'm full. Actually, maybe that might be an insult. I just say I'm full.
I say let's
you don't
let the
need to
audience
say you don't like it. Just say I'm full.
Yeah.
I'm not in the mood for a mac and cheese.
I would, but I think she's within her
all right.
rights.
What would you do?
What would you do?
Like how do you politely decline food? That's a question.
That's also a good question. Yeah.
How do you politely decline food? Because I feel like in a lot of cultures, for a lot of people, like
it is very important.
Declining food is kind of seen as a big affront.
100%.
So yeah, I'm curious how you would do that. And also, what's the worst meal that anyone has ever cooked for you?
Ooh.
I'm curious about that.
Or just eaten. Period.
Or eaten. Yeah.
That's it. We'll see you on the next one.
Yeah, this was a great little episode. This is our vacation episode. Thanks for joining us over here. We have more coming.
That's right.
So
Love you guys.
See you soon.